Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Teach here with my good friend
Yes, Bones.
and our guests today. We have Don't Make Me Famous Fame here, a
What's
good
going on,
buddy that was
guys?
grown up a long time ago, and a very, very special guest all the way from the deep south, McJump.
Hey, how's it going?
Local boy, has met some amazing success. All of us, in case you are newer to the stream, we all kind of grew up together, went to high school within a couple of years of each other, and we're general nerds and have kept in touch. And McJump here is currently living out my dream and is has recently been drafted to a professional video game team, playing Tekken as his main game and DB Fighter Z, and we are just over the moon to have him up here visiting.
Yes, let's get it.
Yes.
Because, like I said, you're living my dream, and so I kind of want to pick your brain about everything.
Oh yeah, man. I'm happy to answer anything I can.
Well, first of all, I mean, like, you've been playing in tournaments and everything like that since high school, since before that. I mean, just enjoying the mess out of video games. When you graduated and moved down to Georgia, how did you start getting back into the scene?
I mean, I've always been true to Tekken since day one, since the old school gray box PS1 days.
Yeah.
I played it in college a little bit, not competitively or professionally, just for fun. But once I graduated, I started trying to take it a little bit more seriously with Tekken Tag 2. And Atlanta's a hotbed for Tekken in general, but fighting games as well. We can talk about that a little bit later if you want.
All the way.
But,
Yes. Yes. Everything is on the table today.
But I looked up on Facebook just like some local Tekken tournaments, and I found a few, and I was like, let me just try my luck at this. And I went in and got bodied.
As it should be, yeah.
I found out later on that the people I got bodied by were some pretty high up people, so I didn't feel quite as bad. But that gave me my first taste of it, and I don't know. It was just something that was really fun. Mm-hmm. With the release of Tekken 7, I got back into it, got pretty serious with it, and I thought I was pretty good. So I started back competing again for real around March of this year. So everything's kind of launched really fast from then until this point now. We're picking up the sponsorship and getting to travel some places and do some things. It's been really fast, but just if they keep putting out the games, I'm gonna keep buying them. Like I'm a Tekken fan for life. So Tekken is probably the reason that I wanted to stay competitive. Like, if it was any other game, I mean, I guess Dragon Ball got me to where I am initially, but just that competition and that nature of the esport aspect of it all originated from Tekken.
Very cool.
So, where did you come up with the name McJump?
McJump. A couple of you might actually know the story.
Right, okay.
That all came back from high school, actually. So I did track and field in high school.
Okay,
and high jump was my main event.
Yeah.
So when I finally got my first car, I wanted to have some personalized license plates.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I couldn't put McJump on there all the way, so I put MC Jump for my initials. But a couple of my buddies read it as McJump.
Right.
And they funny me about it. Like, hey, man, let me get that McJump off the dollar value menu.
Sounds like a dope burger you would get from.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't like it at the time, but it kind of just stuck. And I'm like, it's growing on me. I'm just going to spell it a little differently. Mm-hmm. So that ended up becoming my Twitter handle later on, just for the whole high jump thing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I like this. I'm going to just keep going with this for my video game name as well.
Okay, cool. And so, like, since you've really gotten into, like, the pro gaming scene, what has been, like, some of your biggest challenges that you've had to, go up against, or just that you've encountered?
Biggest challenges, I guess there's a couple of different ones for different games. So with Dragon Ball, I'd say it's trying not to plateau, because with that game, everybody gets to these points where they're comfortable.
Right.
And it's a team-based fighter, so there's you're always swapping characters out in and out to try to get the team that works well with you, but also works well with each other. And you get to a point where you're really comfortable, and then boom, patch notes. Characters get nerfed, characters get buffed, but you've put all this time into your favorite team, that you get into that state of where you don't want to change characters because of that time, and it just becomes time wasted. And you have to be willing to adapt to stay competitive with the meta, to stay up to par with those buffs and those nerfs. And that's probably a big challenge for me. Like if I put X amount of time into this team, I don't want to change this team regardless if they get buffed or nerfed. And when you become that stubborn, you have to work that much harder just to be successful. So that's the biggest problem with Dragon Ball for me. Is just
What's your team in Dragon Ball right now, currently?
Right now, currently, because I'm trying to get past the complacency phase. I'm trying to adapt. But favorite team right now is 21, Cooler, and 16.
Wow.
Backup is Gotenks, Goku, and 16. Those are the main ones. Now, I'll dabble around with a couple other ones, but those are the main ones. And 16 has actually been suffering some nerfs, but he's still just a strong character overall.
Yeah, man.
They haven't been major nerfs, but they have been noticeable. Then you have people that still use Super Saiyan Vegeta. He gets nerfed over and over and over, and his assist is still the best one in the game.
Yep.
Biggest problem with Tekken? That one... there's a couple things with that, actually. I'd say the biggest problem with Tekken, for me personally, is not willing to change my play style. I won't say I'm like an aggressive fighter, but once I get the upper hand in a match, I tend to not pull off of the gas pedal. And sometimes that can bite me in the butt because, when the opponent picks up on that, they adjust their play style accordingly. And, it's like, you're trying to hammer in a nail with a plunger. Wrong tool for the job. It's not going to work.
Oh, that's going to work. Well,
no, it's not going to work. But, you keep trying the same thing. It's not working. You need to eventually get the right tool and start, using the hammer. So I need to start trying to adjust my play styles more in any situation. I can't just keep approaching everything the same way every single time because they're different people, they're different characters. They adapt, you don't.
And your mains you use in Tekken?
Mains I use in Tekken. Currently, Eliza, some of you guys might not know who she is. She got introduced in...
she's one of the newer ones.
She's one of the newer ones. She got introduced in Tekken Revolution, which was like a free version of Tekken back on PS3.
Wow.
She was a fan-voted character, actually. Wow. So Bandai put out 3 sketches, and they were like, hey guys, who do you want in the game? And everybody was like, well, obviously you want a vampire. So...
Yeah.
Because vampires are...
Yeah, so I kind of liked her in that. I was like, oh, she's just different. So I like her as a main. And I also use Paul Phoenix, classic American.
He is awesome.
Yeah.
He's awesome. What have you thought of the DLC that's came out too so far?
DLC that's come out so far. Season 1 was kind of weak. I'm not gonna lie, because it was just like you pay $30 for a season pass, and all we got was like 2 DLC characters. They brought back Tekken Bowling, which no one plays.
Wow.
It's not even online. Like, you can't even play on. At least let me bowl against somebody online. No, it's just they brought back Tekken Bowl, and I think they brought back they added some costumes. So season 1 was overall weak. The characters they added was it was Geese and Noctis, and I thought Geese was awesome. I'm all about the whole cross experience, bringing in someone from a different fighting game franchise. I'm not big on the fact that he shoots fireballs and he's kind of like a 2D character, but then again, so is Eliza, so I can't really be saying anything. Noctis was kind of out of left field, not even a fighting game, it's Final Fantasy. He's super annoying, I'm not gonna lie, but he's cool though. He might have had a better fit in Soul Cal, but that was before anyone even knew Soul Cal was coming out at the time. I like him. I thought he was cool. They were getting really creative with the characters they're adding to the franchise. Season 2 has been cool. I'm kind of split on how I feel about it. So what they're doing is they've been adding in legacy characters as DLC. So they brought back Lei Wulong and Anna Williams.
Nice.
But those were characters that we're all used to just playing in the base games in previous versions. And they kind of did a 180. They said before, hey, we're never going to make you pay for legacy characters, but then, now we're paying for legacy characters.
It's typical. That's been happening lately.
With
a lot of games in
they're
DLC.
Starting to follow the trend. Now, at least with this current season, I think it's season 2 now. They're giving us more characters, so it's more value compared to the season 1.
Right.
So I'm a little annoyed that we're paying for legacy characters, but it's just so cool seeing them in the game now that I'm still happy about it.
Right.
Then Negan's coming out with Michelle.
Awesome.
I never played Michelle. They brought back Armor King and Marduk, which is cool. I like those guys. Negan's interesting because before Tekken was like, okay, we're just gonna start grabbing fighters from other games with Akuma from Street Fighter, with Geese from Final.
Is it SNK? Is that it?
King of Fighters. So
King of Fighters.
Geese
Okay,
from
King of Fighters.
I guess he was in one of the SNK games too.
Yeah.
And now we're like, okay, now we're gonna bring in Noctis from a different game completely, not even a fighting game, and now we're bringing in Negan, who's not even a video game character. We're bringing in a real life guy,
which is awesome.
Which is awesome.
Like if you think about that, where do they go next?
Yeah, because now everyone's on the table.
Yeah.
At this point, we could see Obama in the game.
Yeah. But seriously, like, you start to see this trend now with these fighting games where they're just bringing in just these characters from just all these different genres, TV shows.
Smash Brothers Ultimate with Joker.
Yes,
that was awesome.
Yes.
I'm so ready.
I was like, I like it.
Joker.
Sakurai, good job.
From Persona 5.
Yes.
The main character. Their entire intro video was perfect.
It was dope.
It was so well done.
And the music.
The Persona
The
version.
people, that was the biggest part of the music, yeah.
I'm so excited that that's getting added to the game. The music especially.
And then fun fact about that too. So props to Sakurai and everything that he's doing for the fans, putting in all those fighters in Smash. But I don't want to keep harping Tekken so much, but I do want to say that the director for Tekken, Katsuhiro Harada, is also helping develop Smash.
Yeah.
So a lot of reasons that the mechanics look so polished in Smash right now is because he's been helping. Like people have been tapping him left and right. He helped with Pokken tournament. Pokken was developed.
Yeah. I forgot about
He helped
Pokken.
with that. He helped with Smash, and he helped with SoulCal. So people have been tapping him left and right. Like, hey, can you just touch up our game? He helped with Dragon Ball FighterZ a little bit too.
Do you know if he's helping on the new Mortal Kombat at all?
I don't know. That's a completely different franchise. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they helped him with if they asked him just for some marketing or
Smash Brothers Ultimate is a
some
completely
camera
different
angles.
franchise.
And so is Dragon Ball FighterZ. So I don't know. Maybe I guess it depends on the relationship he has with NetherRealm because I think he was already friends with Sakurai since they're both Japanese.
Right.
And then Dragon Ball's Bandai and Tekken is also Bandai, so it was easy for them to call upon him for the help. So, I don't know about Mortal Kombat. I'll have to see. I know a few people that actually work with NetherRealm thanks to the recent events with the whole esports thing, so it's been kind of cool.
Yeah, so do you think that Tekken X Street Fighter is still going to ever come, or is that just a dead dream?
So man, I just picked up Street Fighter Cross Tekken for the Vita back around Thanksgiving for the first time, and I'm like, this is kind of fun, kind of weird, but kind of fun.
Yeah.
I did just see a tweet yesterday though, and they said that Tekken Cross Street Fighter is currently on hold, and they are at 30% development on it right now.
Wow.
So I don't know what that 30% entails, but
a lot of talking.
I'm guessing that
that's about where they were.
They probably got to still talk money with Capcom on that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's about where they were with Star Wars 1313 before it got canceled.
Yeah.
It was 30% production. So the whole idea with these fighting games and esports coming up, I mean, it's just amazing. Are we going to be able to attach Harada's name to titles and be like, all right, this is a good one, like we can with directors like, ooh, Peter Jackson just dropped a new movie. We should go see that because I like his movies.
It's starting to feel like that a lot, actually. Like it's going to get to the point where they're going to need their own Hall of Fame, their own Walk of Fame with stars.
Yeah, man.
People are putting out franchises that are making money that movies are making.
Absolutely.
That's their craft, just like anybody else's.
Yeah.
So there need to be some type of recognition.
At the same point in time, you've got companies like Destiny that had a $600 million production value on their first game, and
you can't argue dollars.
No, you really can't. But that Destiny 1 right now is valued at 10-cent trade-ins. 10 cents.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does the speed of that kind of hurt fighting games as well? The pro circuit for you?
The crazy thing with that is that fighting games are still in its infancy when it comes to esports.
Wow.
There's always been the hype and the popularity when it comes to events like Evo and all those major tournaments you see, but there's not as much money in it as there are in your shooters, your team-based games.
Gosh,
yeah.
no. CWL, Overwatch,
your FIFAs,
League,
your Counter Strikes, your Overwatch.
Overwatch League is like an NBA game.
Your Rocket League. There's so much more money in that than there is in fighting games right now. That's a big thing. The FGC or fight game community has been trying to push. They're trying to get more money behind it. We're trying to show people that this is just as exciting as all those other games. You guys are accustomed to watching your League of Legends, your MOBAs out there. But it's getting those companies that are making esports a thing to be on board. Right now, they don't see it as marketable as something like a Counter-Strike, something like an Overwatch. But it's slowly been evolving. The biggest success is probably Street Fighter right now. Capcom's been full on board putting their own money behind the tournament with their Capcom Pro Tour, and
they've been really putting that in all the games too. Like I heard, like they got ads now.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Some people don't like it, but
I don't know how I feel about that. But that's kind of how we're shifting to it.
Yeah.
But I think the thing with that is it's so invasive because you're seeing it right on like
you're
seeing it right on their chest. And, with like stuff like Rocket League, like they put the ads like on the signs like you actually would see at soccer. So like, that doesn't bother me. Like a basketball game, you'll see the ad on the jumbotron, and that's cool. But when you're seeing like a Kleenex logo on somebody's like gi,
right? Yeah, it's just like all there. Like I heard like in Akuma's Raging Demon, like it'll say like Capcom. Yeah, like in Akuma's like special like. The Capcom thing pops up like
it does.
If you have the ads on, like that kind of takes it away from it. It's like, come on, like you guys are, and like they take away, they don't give you as much money now. Like if you don't have the ads on.
I mean, Capcom's a whole nother thing, man. So like they support their own tournament with their Capcom Tour, and there's a lot of money in it to be had for like the Street Fighter players, but it still pales in comparison to something you'd see with your shooters and your MOBAs.
Right.
But it's slowly rising. A big part of that is Turner Sports, Turner Studios. They have E-League. I don't know if you guys ever caught that before. Usually comes on Fridays around like 11 o'clock.
Okay.
If you turn to TBS, they'll be hosting video games. It's usually like a different one every month. Another reason you guys got to come down to Atlanta, man, because they film all that stuff right there. That's awesome. And it's free to be in the audience. So I went to.
I gotta go.
I
gotta get there.
There's no excuse.
Yeah, there's no excuse now.
I went there for their. They had a Counter-Strike tournament, and I went there for a Rocket League, and I went there for Tekken, just watching it. They give out free swag to the audience and stuff, and it's cool. So you get those companies like Turner that are behind esports, and they're putting in money regardless of the type of game. Like it helps everybody out regardless of the genre of the game.
So what I know happened recently with Dragon Ball Fighters is they're talking about pulling them from tournaments.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's going to be a permanent thing, or do you think it's like temporary? Because I know that affects you then.
A little bit, yeah.
That affects you then. So
bit.
it's like, what's going on?
So that actually did affect me and my teammate about a month or so ago. So one of the biggest tournaments I just went to recently was DreamHack Atlanta. Okay. That was back in November, like early November. And Dragon Ball was set to be on the list of games being held. And then about 3 weeks before the event, they had to post a message through everybody's email that signed up and through Twitter, like, unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, we are no longer hosting Dragon Ball Fighters. Right. They wouldn't say why. Everybody knows it's something for licensing reasons, stuff like that. I see it as temporary, but it's definitely a problem right now.
Absolutely.
From what I've been seeing through the grapevine is that it's just Toei. Not even Bandai, like Toei Animation. Toei, they want their money. Yeah. And when you get these big events that are having sponsors like Monster Energy, Red Bull, and Coke, putting their names behind it, and they're shelling out all these bucks, they want their piece of the pie. Right. And unfortunately, that negatively impacts the people that are just trying out there have a good time and earn some of their money competing.
It's kind of ill timing because you have Smash out, and then you got Mortal Kombat to get ready to come out, and so it's like, are all these players gonna move over to Mortal Kombat?
I think a lot of them are. Some of them are already shifting over to like BlazBlue Cross Tag, just because they know that's not going anywhere. Gotcha. But I definitely see it as temporary, and I'm assuming they're gonna put out some sort of announcement for it soon. But for right now, if you're a professional Dragon Ball Fighters player, it's kind of rough for you.
Especially like traveling out there, and then it's like, sorry, we're canceled. It's like,
you mentioned you talked about mechanics, seeing the mechanics in there, and I kind of wanted to talk about the mechanic. Like while this actually will blend into the character discussion actually, with the new DLC characters, and then also with Mortal Kombat's mechanics. Did you choose your roster based on mechanics, or did you choose them based on your personal preferences? Because that's going to go into me asking you a few questions about how you categorize characters as far as like, are they combo technique based? Are they like read the flow of the battle based? Is it more about how you time their attacks, even though you can take a little bit of a beating with them? Or are they just beast mode and just like, boom, 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 I'm Superman in Injustice 2.
That was great.
Just Twin Mac just ruining Fame's day over and over.
He makes you want to just stop.
Shout out to Twin Mac.
So with Dragon
when you
Ball,
getting us that footage?
Never.
That's straight from Kal-El, not me.
Yeah.
I didn't
That's
say
me.
it.
You're looking at me. I'm like, that's him. That's,
No, I'm staring at you, telling you that you got to protect me from Twin Mac when he hears that recording, because he's gonna come after me for teasing him. Sorry.
Yeah.
Answering the question.
No worries.
Yeah.
So with Dragon Ball, I started off with the characters I liked when the game first came out, because I'm like, I'm playing Gotenks no matter what. I don't care what anybody says. And when the game first came out, everybody thought he was trash. And then sooner or later, people started discovering new tech. You know, shout out to Sonic Fox for showing everybody that he's not trash. And next thing you know, he becomes top of the tier list. But then they started putting out DLC, and I definitely started looking more at mechanics and as opposed to who I liked. So when they added like 17, like 17's cool. I like 17. I don't like him that much to put him on my team. Right. But if you can figure him out, he's a monster. I can't figure him out. So I'm like, okay, mechanic wise, I can't use him. I don't know how to use him. But he's a good character. Cooler, I actually don't like Cooler in the show at all. I'm sorry. Just as a villain, I don't like Cooler. But when I picked him up and some of his techniques and mechanics, I was like, yo, he works well with the guys I like to use. He's not that hard to learn. And he's actually fun to play with. So I sacrificed who I liked versus who worked well. Like one of his mechanics is he's got an unblockable tag assist. So
awesome.
So if your opponent is just there like in the air, not if they're on offense, they're pressing the gas pedal down, you call in that assist, they're going to get hit no matter what. Wow. And everybody thought it was a bug at first, and no, it's not. It was intended. So I was like, okay, I like this assist, and then I just like the way he flows with my characters.
Right.
When they added Broly, Broly's cool. Everybody likes Broly. I like Broly. I wanted to really like use him a lot. I'll F around with him sometimes. I'll put him in my teams, but he just doesn't work well. Like he doesn't sync with the teams I use.
Gotcha.
His assists don't synergize with the combos I try to do. So I couldn't use him. Like regardless if I like him or not, I just couldn't use him. So I think mechanics is something I pay attention to more when it comes to DLC characters, regardless if I like them. With Tekken, like they added Noctis, coolest character in the game by far. Everything he does is cool.
He's got to be hypersensitive on button input, though.
I'd say, his timing is pretty hard, but like his actual execution is easy. The biggest thing with him, though, for me, is that he doesn't actually have a lot of damage. He just has a lot of pressure.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
see, and that actually, everything you just said was like, that kind of feels like you're playing Final Fantasy 15 because it's the button hold mechanics and it's all about your timing. And if you mess your timing up, you're struck for the next 5 minutes. You're just going to take damage.
But like with him, it was just like, man, he's cool. I wish I could use him because he's so flashy and I like stunting on people.
Yeah.
But, you have to work 10 times as harder with him to get the same amount of damage you do with like Paul with like a couple attacks. So it's like why? There's no reason to really use him unless you're just a diehard fan. But I'd say with DLC, I definitely look for mechanics more than likability.
Okay. Awesome. And so does that go through like literally everything? So even if you pick up a brand new, knowing you, there's not too many fighting games that are going to come out that you're not going to know the subject matter, at least somewhat.
No, that's true. I've played pretty much all of them.
Yeah. But
I just want Power Stone.
Yes,
I want
man,
Power Stone
it's
so
coming,
bad.
man. I know it's coming.
It's got to come back.
Somebody's gonna bring it back.
It was such a fun.
It's what was it? Yes,
I don't know. It came out on Dreamcast. That's all I know.
but it was a Capcom game though.
It might have been. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I can see the Switch
I'll
getting.
look it up.
I can definitely see the Switch.
Like I want new graphics, the same play style, all the same stuff.
Yes, I feel like that's coming. Like just like I thought they were doing. Did you ever play Bloody Roar? Yeah.
So actually, I played it when I was a kid a little bit in arcades, but I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
But when I went to DreamHack back in November, they brought back a whole bunch of arcade machines.
Yeah.
And they had Bloody Roar on there, and I was just reliving it. And,
That game is amazing.
And now I'm about to buy it on the Vita just because I want it again.
Did you guys have you seen? There is a game called Wild Arms out for the Switch. Mm-hmm. It is Sunset Riders from Skateland.
Are you kidding me? Dude, that was my favorite game as a kid.
It's Sunset Riders, and you can play 4-player couch co-op. Jeff Koons, I told you, he's here too, guys.
Sunset
Check out
Riders
his
is my
YouTube
game,
videos.
yeah.
Our very wonderful friend who is having some
they took
amazing success just coming off of his Millennial Tour.
They took all my quarters back in Skateland back in the day.
All the quarters. All the quarters.
Never beat it.
Nope.
Then the bosses like start flashing red. When
You just got a little bit further.
Yeah, you just got a little bit further. That was it.
But the whole reason we play games in the first place is just to have fun, to enjoy ourselves, to have a good time. If you like playing that character, play that character. Don't let your opponents or your teammates, in the sense of Overwatch, dictate how you enjoy your game.
Especially in quick play.
Yeah, I mean, especially in quick play, there's nothing at stake. Now, if it's ranked, I might rage at you, but by all means, don't change your character just because I'm raging at. Like, who am I? You don't know who I am. I don't know. Mute me, block me. I don't care. Yeah, you know, keep playing Widowmaker. I can't physically stop you from playing Widowmaker.
Just because a couple of us had a couple of bad games and we lost like 3 or 4 in a row, well, crap.
You know, like,
there goes my placement. So they're better enough.
We'll never see each other. There's even a button in Overwatch to say I don't want to team up with this guy anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
One of the greatest things about in Overwatch. Like, I'm gonna avoid you forever. Yeah.
And then we go back to Injustice and fighting games. There definitely are metas. Metas will just be like your top tier characters. Like some metas for fighting games are tier lists. And there definitely exists. You know, people will change their minds. Top tier players will say, you know, this character is an S tier, this character is a B tier. But then another player might disagree. So it really just comes down to your opinion. You know, it's all subjugation. But again,
is it coming down to your opinion, or is it coming down to, because you said this earlier, the kind of the big name right now, you won the Game of the Year award, Sonic Fox. He's determining.
Sonic Fox does determine the meta for a lot of games.
That's scary. That's really scary.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. Sonic Fox has to pull, man. Like,
man.
He's running for president next year. But your top tier players dictate the meta because everyone sees them on the big stage having success. So, in a sense, meta could somewhat be determined by the number of people that play the character. The more you see someone get played, the more you think they are viable, the better of a character you think they are, which isn't always necessarily true, but that's how our society thinks. It's kind of like a hive mind. Like, oh, all these guys that got top 10 in this tournament play this character. He must be the best character. I'm going to play this character. And so is everybody else that watched the same Twitch stream that I saw.
Right.
Now, then you have your case like Sonic Fox. He changes his character every week.
Right.
So, in a sense, he's kind of healthy for the meta because he's making everybody change their characters too. But you do start seeing those same characters over and over and over again, and they become the meta. But then that comes down to game balance at the same time, which is why you have so many patch notes in all your different games. The reason why Sonic Fox is so scary, though, is not because of the fact that he can play anyone and because everyone copies who he plays, but Sonic Fox literally learns new tech that even developers don't know about. Like, he's actually the reason that characters get patched sometimes. Like, when he did something in a tournament with Captain Cold. If devs didn't know it was even possible, no one knew it was possible.
That's his best character to me.
And he got nerfed because of what Sonic Fox was doing. Now, Sonic Fox didn't do anything wrong. He used what was built into the game at his disposal. But because he is that guy, he's that good, he literally dictated the meta because the devs had to go in and change something that, you know, affected the mechanics of Captain Cold, which is kind of cool if you think about it. But yeah, meta is just a state of mind. Like, you know, play who you want to play, be good at that character, but you still need to be aware of the meta to know what you're going to run into. When you got a game like Tekken, the meta doesn't really matter until you start getting up into the higher ranks, because then you start seeing the same characters over and over again. And it gets kind of boring because you're seeing the same 4 or 5 characters. But then if you're just playing quick play or like tournament mode, you know, who cares? You're going to see everybody playing everybody. But that game is so balanced that yes, there is a meta, but it doesn't even matter. I mean, if you just look at the recent Tekken World Tour, the guy that won with Panda, who's largely considered the worst character in the game. He beat Devil Jin with Panda.
And Devil Jin is like
Devil Jin's top tier.
Top tier.
Like
absolutely top tier.
Feels like a
He won with Panda, like handedly, I might add. And even the game developer Harada himself tweeted out, "Panda, really?" So like, yeah, you have your metas, but if you put in the time, it doesn't matter.
So now I know we've talked a lot about Sonic Fox. As far as 2019, what are you trying to accomplish in the pro gaming? What are you trying to accomplish out there?
So 2019 is going to be a big year for me. So I picked up the sponsorship early this year, and I've gone to a lot of local tournaments in Atlanta, a couple in Tennessee, one in Florida. But 2019, they actually want to send us out to Evo. So that's like the that's like the Olympics of the fighting game. So
that's amazing. Let's do it.
So my goal is to not get washed. I want to get some wins. I don't want to go 0-2. And so far at every major I've been at, I've succeeded in that. In the DreamHack, I went 4-2, so I was pretty happy about that. I beat some good guys. I want to branch out more as a streamer, actually, so I've been trying to do that more.
Right.
I used to only use Twitch just as a tool for learning techniques from some of my favorite guys like Sonic Fox, guys like Justin Wong, Speed Kicks, those guys. But then I started streaming my own tournaments. So I do a mix between local, in-person, and online tournaments. So I've been streaming my online tournaments. I've been streaming some of my practice sessions. And it's actually pretty fun. I found I actually enjoy commentating what I'm doing. I enjoy interacting with the viewers. They'll tell me things I didn't know. I'll message one of them and be like, hey, you want to hop in for a match? Let's see what happens. So I like that interactivity. I want to try to stream more and build that platform more for myself, but just to continue to get better.
The question that I have actually with that one is, you mentioned that you were watching Sonic Fox and Justin Wong. Who else do you watch to learn?
Oh man, a lot. Speed Kicks is a very top-notch Huarang player.
I'm taking notes, folks. You absolutely should too. There will be a test.
Speed Kicks.
My name's Teach.
Anyway, Anakin uses Jack. I mean, all these guys, they play a lot of different people on streams. He learns technique.
You really went with Anakin? I'm so proud.
Yeah, and
that's amazing.
And these guys are all in Atlanta too. It's a crazy thing. So like when I go to like a local, like I'm playing these guys are like the top players in the U.S. So
that's amazing.
Being in Atlanta has been helpful just because I'm playing these guys that literally are winning the big bucks every single day.
So is this like is Atlanta a hub?
It is in more ways than one. Fighting games are huge in Atlanta in general, but a lot of people consider it like the Tekken capital of the country.
Wow. Okay.
So you have your Speed Kicks, you have Anakin, you have Poke Chop, a guy named Mike ATL. These guys are all.
I know Poke Chop.
We all know Poke Chop.
You all know Poke Chop.
Yeah, we all know
These
Poke
guys
Chop.
are all the top U.S. players.
Have you ever met him?
Yeah, I see him all the time. It's my local. Like he's just there.
Okay, that's awesome.
My last local, I got a game off of, man. I'm pretty proud of that.
How did he react to that? That's what I want to know.
So he started off. His best character is Josie, but he plays Dragunov a lot too. So he played Dragunov. I played my Eliza, and I got to pull up the video. I'm sure I can find the video on Twitch. But I beat his Dragunov, and he immediately switched to Josie. I took pride in that. I'm like, yeah, he's your man. And then he beat me with Josie 2 times. So he beat me 2-1. But I'm proud about that win. I'm gonna own that win. He didn't do his popping off at me.
I was like, did he do the whole?
No. He charged in one game, but like he didn't like do his rock or anything like that. It was just good games. But yeah, I see him at all my locals. He's there. He's a real funny dude. Yeah. He's also a real nice guy too. Like he's a father. A lot of people don't know that he's a family man. So a lot of
very cool.
Like there was a nice little like video recently on him. Like a lot of the money he wins, he actually puts towards his daughter's schooling, which is just a private school.
Yeah.
So he's a cool guy. But yeah, I see these big names every day, and I was a little intimidated by it at first because I'm like, man, like how am I gonna beat these guys? That goes back to your first question, like how did I get into this? My very first Tekken tournament was a Tekken Tag tournament. I got bodied by Speed Kicks. I didn't know he was Speed Kicks at the time. Speed Kicks is a really good Huarang player, but he's also just a genius in general, like in life and in games. He graduated from Morehouse at the age of 16.
Holy crap!
Wow.
Yeah.
So
this guy's not playing.
He's literal genius.
It's incredible.
It's fun for him.
So with Atlanta being kind of a
It's a hub, man.
FGC?
Fight game
community, yeah. So being the hub of that, with the addition of the Atlanta Reign to the Overwatch League
I'm excited about that.
That's going to be exciting.
I'm going to they have an opening event, like watch party.
There's
a place called Battle and Brew. It's literally a geek bar. So you get beer, you get food, and then there's computers, there's laptops, there's consoles, there's video game systems all everywhere. There's big screens everywhere. It's literally like a giant man cave for friends.
That's incredible.
They're having an opening night party for the Atlanta Reign there, so I will be there. It's going to be fun.
That's awesome. There's going to be road games too. So they actually are going to have road games for the Overwatch League this year, which begs the question: do you think we're going to see, since we have like for the CWL, we see like actual sponsored teams that are kind of like club football? Or club soccer.
Yeah. That's a good comparison.
But so when we see something like that versus not necessarily just in Overwatch, but do you think we're going to see teams develop for fighting games like squads, and that's essentially what you are sponsored by, correct?
Kind of. So So my team, I guess we'll talk a little bit about my
Yeah, please.
sponsorship. So mine is new. I'm sponsored by Golden Acre Gaming.
Okay.
And they're a couple of guys that are up and coming with the esports world. And it started off with the manager who owns his own tattoo shop in Atlanta called Golden Acre Tattoo.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm already in there.
Yeah, so he's a big gamer. He's a huge Street Fighter fan, but he also likes Mortal Kombat and Injustice. He plays a lot of different games. But he said he always had a dream of having his own esports team. So him and a couple of his buddies decided to start organizing tournaments late last year. And Dragon Ball Fighters, that was their first one they started doing. Dragon Ball Fighters and Street Fighter. And I started showing up to some of the Dragon Ball Fighters tournaments. And I placed really well in them. I think I got second the first one I did. I got third, I got fourth. I haven't won one of the Dragon Ball ones yet, but I've been placing really well in them. And then the guy that kept beating me, he won a couple of them. So they reached out to both of us on Facebook. And they said, they kind of gave us the details of what they were trying to do. They told us their ambitions, their goals, and they asked us if we wanted to be sponsored by them. And of course we said yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Who doesn't want to be a sponsored player? So they're up and coming. There's new. So there's only two of us on the team right now. They're trying to expand a little bit next year. But they've been really helpful and supportive. They've been upfronting us money for our travel expenses and our tournament entries.
Incredible.
And sending us out to places. So they're up and coming. But the goal is to develop a team of players in various fighting game disciplines. And you kind of already see that a little bit with some of the teams. You have your team Echo Fox that Sonic Fox is on. But they have a couple of different games. They have a Counter-Strike team, they have a League team, and then they have fighters and Dragon Ball Fighters, Street Fighter, etc.
That's sponsored by Rick Fox, isn't it?
It's Rick Fox's team,
Rick Fox's team, yeah. He has a lot of people on there. On that.
He's been cutting people left and right too, which is the crazy thing, but he does have a lot of people. I think
Justin Wong's on there, isn't he?
Justin Wong's still on there. He's not going in. Like you say, he's Michael Jordan fighting game.
I feel like he's the Michael Jordan and Sonic Fox is the LeBron.
Sonic Fox is on there. They cut a lot of players recently though. Like they cut some top tier Japanese guys that they've got second and first in Evo in recent years.
Right.
I think what they're trying to do is actually kind of focus it more towards American players.
Right.
There's still a couple of international ones, but it seems like they cut most of their international roster.
Okay.
But they do have a team of fighting game people, and those guys actually train together, just like not quite as organized as you see like with the Overwatch teams, where they have their own dorms, they have their own
which is crazy.
their own healthcare plans and stuff, which is awesome.
my
I'm
God.
all for
Blizzard,
it.
Blizzard is setting them up.
Blizzard's doing it
so
right.
well. I'm so excited.
That's a question. So where do you see gaming in the next couple of years? Where are we going to end up? When is it going to be taken seriously?
Man, that's always the question.
When PlayStation and Xbox quit messing around.
When crossplay becomes for real.
Yeah. Crossplay as well as quit developing new consoles every 5 years. Let it marinate a little.
So I think the biggest hurdle to climb at first was to get it to be taken seriously in the public eye as an art form. Because for a long time it just had a stigma of just being a distraction for kids. It was just something to do. It was just a toy. And then people started putting in these amazing stories. You have your God of Wars, you have your Assassin's Creeds, you have your Uncharted, your Last of Us. Spider-Man. I mean, those were some of the greatest stories I've ever seen in any form of media. And I feel like only recently people are starting to actually get up to speed and realize that these are legitimate art forms. I mean, he brought up the numbers earlier, like Destiny's pulling in more money than some of these new movies out here, some of these reboots out here.
Which is crazy.
So
Their development budget.
Yeah.
The amount of money they've had to make, I couldn't even imagine. They Taken King was probably one of the most profitable DLCs.
Yes. So now that the public has finally realized that this is a legitimate art form and that they've gotten that much more respect as an art form, and so now the next hurdle is to get more respect as a form of entertainment, a form of sports or esports, whichever you want to classify it as. And that's still taking some time. It's your MOBAs and your Rocket Leagues and your Paladins and Overwatches. They're bringing it up there full steam ahead.
Paladins.
So
Paladins.
Yes, it's a knockoff of Overwatch.
Going away.
But there is so much money in Paladins, you don't even understand.
I do. I'm really upset.
There's so much money. Have you heard of Brawlhalla?
Yeah.
There's so much
Yeah.
money in that, and that's just a knockoff of Smash. It's just a simplified version
Yeah.
of Smash. Like at DreamHack, there was a $100,000 prize pool for
Wow.
singles and doubles in Brawlhalla, which is a free to play game.
Oh my god.
So there's money to be made in that, and companies are finally starting to jump on board. You have your Red Bulls, your Monsters, your Asus, HP.
Yep.
They're starting to throw money behind it. They're trying to get their logos in games with Capcom. They're trying.
I look at Fortnite. I mean, that
Yeah.
game went from like just
Which is
nothing to like it's.
Well, it
got
was the free knockoff of PUBG.
Yeah, and now it's
Which just got dropped on PlayStation. I had no clue.
Yeah.
And now you got people from Fresh Prince trying to sue them. So you
Yeah.
know they made it. So
It's gotta be money.
it's gotta be money.
They can sue for choreographed dance. So they probably the flossing kid probably
Flossing Kid
cannot.
can't, but Alfonso definitely can.
Alfonso definitely can. You know
And
who else?
2 million probably can.
Turk. Donald Faison. His toxic
Oh, yeah.
dances in there.
Yeah.
That was choreographed.
Well, he wasn't happy that was in there too because I know he spoke out on that.
Yeah.
But I think, the biggest thing for esports is going to just be more reception to it. So, ESPN started showing Overwatch League earlier in the year. That was big.
They checked the Nielsen ratings to see how that was going to go, so we could be seeing ESPN
Could see some more,
like 2 or 4 maybe carrying Overwatch.
The last one.
Not the free ones.
And Turner started showing the Capcom Pro Circuit and some other fighting games. But those are the only 2 networks I can really think of that have been showing it.
For now.
TNT.
For now.
TNT televises Evo, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
They have televised major tournaments.
Really? Okay, I've always watched Evo on Twitch.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, I watched it on Twitch.
I stumbled on it at one point in time. It was either on TNT, TBS, or Spike. It might have been Spike.
It might have.
Yeah, so it's definitely growing. But I think it's
Spike
probably-
TV airs drone racing.
That's true.
For sure.
ESPN does drone racing too. Actually.
Yeah,
I watched that.
which is
later.
nuts. VR drone racing also sounds
I want to try
super
that.
fun.
But yeah, I think it just needs to continue getting more attention by these big networks. The more exposure it has, the bigger it can actually grow. The better for the players, the better for the viewers.
Right.
But the big companies are there. They're throwing the money out there, but it's just such a new realm. People are still kind of like easily getting into it. Like even like Evo is starting to get like kind of subtle sponsorships now. Like I think they got like a side sponsorship with cup noodles.
Yeah.
So you're seeing like ramen noodle commercials all the time in between like the Evo events.
Yeah, man.
You have to watch a couple commercials when you're on Twitch now.
Yep.
Big companies are starting to throw their money out there in that too because they realize that these viewers are giving money to these players. They could also be giving money to us. Why don't we throw some of our ads in there?
Yeah.
So the more people that get on board, the better. It's just been much slower than everything else because it's not a traditional sport.
Right.
And I mentioned earlier a little bit about how they need to let consoles marinate a little bit because if you look at the pricing of video games, the games themselves have not followed any kind of economic trend.
Yeah.
Period. They have not. There was one price jump, one in the last since they've been a major thing from $50 to $60. It was $10. Look at the quality. What you paid $50 for, and now what we pay only $60 for. In the basic games,
Yeah,
I'm one of those
some
fools that
some
paid
stuff's
like
been getting watered down though.
Yes.
But not everybody.
Yeah, not everybody, but at the same point in time, you look at like theoretically God of War, and actually, you know what? Here's a great one to look at: the Uncharted games.
Free DLC always.
Free DLC always, absolutely.
Love it.
But you have the base game, $60. Cool, that's awesome. Let's look at how many movies are in that. Each chapter of that video game is its own Indiana Jones movie.
Wow.
Essentially. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 chapters, but looking at that, you get each of these volumes would be like a trilogy in a movie theater. So that's theoretically 24, 24, and 24 for your Blu-ray DVD combo.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Like you're putting in umpteen hours in these games, and the movie's 2 hours. You're getting a bigger bang for your buck in the games.
And then compare your motion capture budget and your graphics design budget and all of your production development versus a blockbuster movie.
Yeah.
It's not as far apart as you would think, which is kind of crazy.
I can imagine, especially for like your Last of Us, your Naughty Dog games, your God of
Yeah,
War.
The Last of Us 2 is
They
so
take their
good.
production values super seriously.
Speaking of, we always talked about playing that game online and never did end up wrecking people together because that
Last of
was
Us 2
so
comes
good.
out, let's do it.
Yes,
Me,
'cause that's gonna be so good.
I got a
You
squad
guys aren't
ready.
ready for my bow skills. You're not. You're not.
You know what?
Destiny 2 was upset.
I was
They
the,
were angry. I took it into Gambit and cried.
I'm the guy that
every duel, every single one. Don't take bows into Gambit. It's a terrible idea.
I was the smoke bomb shift guy.
Yeah.
So I would do that a lot. Yeah, I'm so ready for
You
that.
should see Teach now making these sound effects.
That's what I do, guys. The other part about some of these other games like that, how do you put battle royales into there? Because
They're everywhere.
Well,
you
yeah.
get a battle royale.
You get a battle royale.
You get a battle royale. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! But like because when you look at PUBG, which was the quote unquote first one to really make it, it has been absolutely dismantled by hackers and cheaters.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting here like, why would you, PlayStation, why would you bring PUBG to your console when it's already broken, when people already know the hacks? The PSN is already more vulnerable than Xbox Live anyway.
I think PlayStation just kind of did it as a power move, honestly. Like, they wanted to give people less of a reason to buy any other console. Like, you can't say it's an Xbox exclusive anymore because we have it too.
Yeah,
It's true.
I don't even know if they really wanted it. I think they
but-
just wanted it just because they could have it.
I think they tried to yank it back because of Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is no longer a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah.
And that's been something like I've been livid about because
I haven't.
15 years.
I get it.
I know,
I
because
play it
you
now.
don't get punished for switching teams.
But I don't even know if that was so much. I don't even know if that was so much a Sony decision as it was a Square decision. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Sony had the money to keep it as an exclusive, but a lot of games are trying to stop being exclusive.
As
now.
soon as
Like,
Final Fantasy came out on both, Final Fantasy 13, I was like, all right, Square's going to release across.
before this current generation, Tekken was always a PlayStation exclusive,
Yep.
and then they started coming out on Xbox. But now Street Fighter is a PlayStation exclusive, so I don't know. Everybody's kind of going flip flop with that.
But at the same point in time, you have to look at the Xbox One X. That's the newest one, right? Yes.
For now.
Yeah, for now. Microsoft, calm down. That's what I'm talking about. They're going to price themselves out of their market. I can't afford a new console in 2 years.
Absolutely not.
No way. Absolutely not. My PlayStation is going to go until the fan gives out. Like, I'm worried about how I'm going to switch over to PlayStation 4 Pro for Kingdom Hearts 3. 'Cause that means I got to upgrade my whole shit. I got to get a new 4K TV. Pardon my language. I'm upset.
I can just picture you just playing. It's just
Just say, me and my buddy, I'm gonna come up with a nickname for him at some point in time because he's gonna join us in recording because he's just like, yeah, my beard already is getting like
I'm
Billy
sorry.
Ray Cyrus.
I can just picture you with a long beard and a little bird sitting there and just playing like, here it goes.
There you go.
Shut up! I'm gonna roll.
It's just fades in the dust.
And then the Halo. Then the announcer comes on. Killtacular. What are you playing? Like Halo 1 on a PlayStation?
Yep.
Don't tell me my life. No, but like with PlayStation 4 Pro, then you have to get a 4K TV because otherwise it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about this last week too.
But like so but the Xbox One X is actually a console 0.5 that's worth talking about as opposed to the other ones which are just basically upgrade the TV. It does the same thing. The Xbox One X is as powerful as a low-end gaming PC. It is as powerful as a low-end gaming PC. By low-end, I mean affordable to most normal people that aren't going to go out and build their own.
Yeah.
So if you're going to build your own, you're going to put the Xbox One X to shame. Doesn't matter. If you're going to do it right, you're going to do it.
PC wins over everything.
Absolutely.
We know
Destiny
that.
2 on PC made me cry. It was so pretty. But like the other thing about that is with the Xbox getting so much closer, PlayStation has a little bit of ground to cover. And I think they're going to do that. But I don't think they're going to play around with this PS4.2 instead of the 4.1 that they have with the PS4 Pro.
No, they don't seem like they're doing that. But early announcements suggest that the PS5 actually will be backwards compatible just because the games are already so great and there's still so much in their infancy.
Good, because
Yeah.
if that actually ends up stopping, like, these developers can't keep up.
People would riot if you just like cut off. Like it had to be backwards compatible. But
Compete with Xbox, I think so, yeah, because they're now full on backwards compatible both for original
like
Xbox
Sony tried to be like
It's still selective. They're working on it, but it's still selective.
Yeah, but just like
And then PlayStation's kind of doing the same thing with their PS Now, but they're only digital, you know.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like where things are going now. Like rumored is that one of the Xbox new consoles is going to be just a strictly cloud-based console, more or less. So it's like
Are they still talking about
so
the
it's like
Steam
you'll have
box?
so it's like you'll have an Xbox, right?
Yeah.
But it accesses games in the cloud, so you're not going to have physical versions. And then the machine is honestly just it's almost like a piece of plastic that's accessing like a higher end machine somewhere in the cloud. So it's like you're using a virtual PC to get that level of graphics. Everything's trying to shift towards streaming. I don't know how viable that is. Obviously, the people are still going to want your physical games.
It's so viable.
People are going to want your collector's editions.
Yeah, but it's so viable because when you look at okay, you're talking about streaming games. It's a little bit back and forth.
I mean,
collector's editions, there will always be a market for.
Oh yeah,
because there will always be people like me that want the Uber collector's edition. I'm not getting it, but like the Uber collector's edition of the Kingdom Hearts. I got the nice, beautiful Destiny 2 box, and you know what? I loved the game. It was worth my money. But like the whole idea, I do have that. Yeah, my Destiny notebook. But the other part of that is that the Kingdom Hearts 3 PlayStation 4 Pro went on sale.
That thing was so cool.
4 p.m. on Friday, and it was instantly sold out at 5 p.m.
I bet.
Friday.
I bet. Well, people have been waiting 12 years for that game.
Right? But I was at work, and I couldn't go online and buy it.
Those were all pre-orders.
They were. No. It wasn't even a pre-order. It's a pre-purchase. That's not the $5 down, pay as you go to fill it up. That's $500 right now.
Shut up and take my money.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. But I'm so tired of this like limited edition stuff. Like, why would you not have
just
an
make
entire run?
Make it a standard console.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Have an entire run of the Smash Brothers Switches.
That 500th anniversary PlayStation or whatever. That thing looks so cool.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
Can't get it
Yeah. You can get them on eBay for like $80,000.
Yeah. I mean, like
something ridiculous.
Like that's one thing I do like about Nintendo. Like they'll just come out with these different versions. Like here's a Pikachu Switch. Here's a Zelda Switch.
Also,
they're not limited. You can buy.
No. Yeah. The Pikachu and Zelda you can. The Smash Brothers you can never buy again, which sucks. It's like, why would you do that? You would have 3 times the number of
you're
people
returning away money is what you're doing.
That's exactly what you're doing. And then the idea of all of that when we're comparing where gaming is going to go over the next couple of years, you know, it adds a lot of uncertainty. But you can't see that when you watch the players at the tournaments. You can't see that when you look at your successes. You can't see that when you look at the growth of the community and how much we're really just running with it. The developers are on our side, which is something you can't really say in a lot of...
Some are,
yeah. The ones that count, the ones that matter are on our side, right? Like, except you mentioned streaming, and I was going to go on a little bit of a tangent with streamers and how much they can control the meta and they control the developers, especially in Destiny 2.
Streamers.
Dado controls the entire flow of that game, but at the same point in time, he has to be available for the beck and call. But like when we look at the competitive fighting games, you don't have that problem. When you look at the competitive shooters, you don't have that problem, and it's really nice. And I think it's going to be a really great community for all of us to kind of get behind and jump into. And I cannot convey enough congratulations for your sponsorship with Golden Anchor Gaming and McJump. All of us back here, just super happy to have you here. I'll tell you what, from all of us at Ridge Park, play some video games for y'all. This is Teach.
McJump.
Fame.
Galileo.
That's Bones, and you know the Lotus always blooms twice.